there are two things that I definitely would want to have told myself. Those are, well, the first thing being that the boys that have the most aggressive outbursts, the children that have the most aggressive outbursts, are the ones that I'm going to feel I need to deal with more urgently, and I'll give most of my attention to them at the beginning. So there's one boy that was having serious problems with his English teacher, and so I did my background research, looked at his data, and because I work with year 9, so the boy in year 6, he had a reading age of a 16-year-old, but that wasn't reflected in his grades. So it was no surprise that he was clashing with his English teacher because he wasn't being pushed in class. He wasn't being appreciated for his intelligence. So I helped him to build his relationship with his teacher, and I helped him to understand that, you know, that his teacher is on his side and wants him to achieve. So within a few months, you know, he had completely turned around the relationship with his teacher, and he achieved his end of year target, you know, by the end of the first term, and he's just been building on that ever since. And unfortunately, that teacher left at the end of the year, and he was really upset for about a week. But that message, I kind of helped him. I wanted him to remember. I helped him to realize that he needs to build up relationships, and those relationships he can use to benefit himself. Whenever you're dealing with children, the behavior that they display isn't a reflection of how they see you as a person. It's just them trying to communicate something. They might know long words. They might, you know, be really good at reading or communicating different things, but they're not adults yet. They're still children, and they could be 15, they could be 16, they could be however old. They still don't know truly how to get what they want across or to tell you certain things. So I found that through talking to kids and picking up on behavior problems that they're displaying, I found out that there's a problem at home. So they're really distressed, or they might have fallen out with their parents. So if they come to school and they can't do work, they're thinking about, where am I going to go home? Where am I going to go home to because my parents have kicked me out last night, or things like that. So I'll just say, pick up on every bit of information. Don't ignore anything, and that information being their behavior. The second thing I'll say is that, so those children that don't have the most violent outbursts, I like to call them grey children, have a lot of potential, and I feel like I didn't at the beginning put as much focus on them. So I'll say that really observe these children and try and notice every child in a classroom at a time. So there's one boy, he was one of these grey children, you know, and he thought he was really bad at maths, but I noticed he was quite quick with maths. But and he was saying that he wants to be a mechanic, and I said to him, you know, why mechanic? Why not something else? Like, I wanted to explore that. Not that there's anything wrong with being a mechanic, but I just wanted to explore why. But he didn't identify with being a smart kid or with being a kid that's good at maths. So I said to him, and I looked at his data again, his grade in year 6 and his grade at the end of year 8, he's in year 9 now, was the same for maths. He didn't move up in maths. And I said to him, you know, your grade hasn't changed. That means you could have just stayed at home in maths. You haven't learned anything over those 2 years. And I said to him, does that mean that you're done? And he said, he was kind of like a bit confused, a bit offended, didn't know how to take it. And I said to him that it doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means that you haven't been switched on for the last 2 years. I said, what happened last year? And he looked at his data again. He wasn't coming into school regularly. He was misbehaving a lot in lessons, got a lot of concerns. And but anyway, so I focused on him, worked with him after school, and I worked with him on some maths paper that I found online. And I showed him, and he could do it, he was really good at it. I showed him the level of work it was at the end, and it was level 8 work. And this is a kid that was, you know, was still on a year 6 grade. you know, and the look on his face when he realized that he was doing the maximum level of work for his age group, you know, it was like, I could see his mind completely change, his mindset completely changed, and he had what we like to call a growth mindset at City, because he realized that through actually working hard, he could achieve what he wanted to, and within 3 terms, so within 3 months, so end of Christmas term again, he had gone up 2 levels. He went from, I think, was it a 4C, or I think it was a 4B to a 5A by the end of Christmas term. So yeah.